Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been having a good last few months. I haven't sat down and filmed since I was in Timor, so it's been quite a while, and that's why I've been flooding you guys with a lot of Africa vlogs and old content that I needed to catch up on, but I'm really in the mood to film now. I feel like in the past week or so, I've been a bit more motivated, so look forward to some fresh new content, and it's going to be a lot more specific from now on. So I have actually spoken about this topic on this YouTube channel before. I mentioned it in vlogs last year. I have mentioned it on Instagram and Twitter because it was once a really good change in my life and then it just went horribly wrong. Those of you who have never heard of the rod or the Implanon in general and are thinking it's some like sci-fi robot shit, it's actually just a form of contraception, and it's a little plastic rod that's about the size of a matchstick that's inserted underneath the skin here on your arm. I don't know why it's your arm. Now I'm thinking about it, I don't know why. Maybe it's just able to release into the bloodstream quicker. Lasts for 3 years, which is incredible. It's pretty cheap here in Australia. I can't remember the exact price, but I think to buy the actual object, it was like $30, and then to get it inserted, it was $20. So that's very cost effective compared to the pill, because usually that tends to be $20 to $40 every 4 months. So that was one of the reasons that I was drawn towards it. And I also like the fact that it's in there. You don't have to think about it. You can't stuff it up. It's not like the pill where you can forget it or you can throw it up and then it won't work anymore. It's in there for good. I bet you some of you guys right now are just like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds great. And it is in some ways, and it can be great, but in other ways, it doesn't have the best reputation, and I think my story also helps prove that. For those of you who are interested in how the procedure works, because it is pretty creepy that it's underneath the skin, it took me months to convince myself to do it because it just creeps me out. Actually just get this procedure done at the doctor's, and it takes less than 20 minutes, which is great. I feel like mine only took like 10 minutes, and half of that was me just getting numbed up so that I couldn't feel it, which was great. So the main thing is, if you don't like needles or being numbed up, this might freak you out a little bit, but they numb up this area, and they actually made me tap it, and I couldn't even feel the area, which I thought was really cool. I find that kind of medicine really impressive for some reason. And then they basically cut a little bit. It's probably, I wouldn't even say it's a centimeter, like 5 millimeters, something like that. Tiny, tiny hole. And then they just somehow shove it in there. I didn't watch it, but I'm pretty sure I've watched a few YouTube videos of it. You guys could look that up if you're really interested in seeing how it works. But it's just a little device that basically pushes it in gently. I felt a bit of tugging, but it didn't hurt me at all. And after that, you just have to keep the bandage on for like 48 hours and you can't get it wet. But there's no stitches or anything, which is great, because I've never had stitches and I was a bit worried about that. I've heard that some people tend to get really, really bruised and swollen afterwards, so it totally depends from person to person. I got quite swollen and I was really sore. It's kind of what's expected if you have minor surgery though, so I wasn't really too mad about that. But I guess if your job has a lot of heavy lifting, then I recommend to get it done at the best period of time where you don't have to do too much after that. I remember doing quite a lot of research about the rod before I got it, which I recommend everyone to do about any form of contraception, and always discuss it with your doctor and see if it's the best thing for you, because maybe with different health issues you have, it might not work. It's hard to know. It's different for everybody. And this story I'm about to tell you and how it worked for me is completely different for everybody. But obviously, if you have the rod in you and you're beginning to have these side effects, it might be a good idea to go talk to your doctor and potentially get it removed, because there's just no point. I feel like with every form of contraception, if you're having bad side effects, there is so much out there that we have access to, in Australia at least, that it's worth just trying something else. Most of you guys would already know this, but I thought I'd say it for the younger viewers out there or people who aren't as educated on contraception. The rod does not protect you from STIs. So if you want to be protected from STIs, which you should want to be at all times unless you're in a situation with a partner where it's safe not to, then use a condom. Remember that, people, it's important. But in terms of pregnancy, this is actually the highest one at the moment, which is pretty awesome. It's 99.9% effective, which was again another reason for me to go towards it, because I used the pill for 3 years and you know, I didn't get pregnant. I didn't have any problems with it in that regard, but I was so bad at remembering to take it at the same time. Sometimes I'd forget, and that is how people tend to get pregnant when they're on the pill, if they stuff it up. And it was just so risky, and I just didn't want to take any more risks. Basically, I was given an incredible first 6 months on the rod. This healed perfectly. I couldn't even see the scar. I think it was like the tiniest little mark. Not that it matters anyway, like scars are scars. And after that, I had no period for 6 months. No period, no spotting. I used to have really bad pain every single month that I would take naprogesics for every 6 hours, and it would still be pretty damn bad. So having no pain and no periods, I was like, oh my God, my life has improved forever. I did start to notice late last year though that I started to develop acne, but it was so minor, and I obviously am totally aware that acne can be caused from so many things. So I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, it's just happening. And it didn't really bother me. It was very, very minor at that point. Coming into this year, shit went down. I have no idea what caused this. Maybe my hormones changed for some reason, or maybe it's because I've started a new relationship, so my hormones have changed from that. I have no idea. Basically, my acne started getting so much worse. And I've spoken about this on my Instagram story. I was trialing out different products, and you guys gave me so much advice. So thank you so much. I feel like it actually did help me manage it, because right now all I have is a BB cream on, and you can't really see it. I am in the most flattering lighting ever right now, so I probably look like I have nothing, but it was getting really, really severe. Like it was hurting every single day, and I never had acne throughout puberty, so it was really weird. Another side effect I was having slowly since I got the rod, I started gaining more weight. I think I gained about 6 kilos from July last year until now. Obviously, weight gain can be from so many things. It could even just be my metabolism slowing down or my diet changing. It could be absolutely anything. So I don't want to fully blame it on that, but I do feel like it was a contributing factor. Developing acne out of nowhere and weighing more than I've ever weighed in my life right now, those naturally were not good for me, and I feel like they were totally bringing my confidence down. I also feel like the rod definitely affected my mood. I feel like my anxiety in some ways was worse, and I was definitely touching on depression at times, which I have not really had a problem with in the past. It was so hard to tell last year though, and I still don't know for sure about last year, because for me it was definitely the toughest year of my life. But coming into this year, my life has been going way better career-wise. I'm in an amazing relationship. I feel like my friendships are going a lot better, but I have felt pretty damn low, and it's been so frustrating because I'm in a state where I'm like, look at everything good happening around me, but it just doesn't translate with my emotions. Based off that, I just assumed it was probably mood swings from hormones, which is so frustrating, and that reason alone, I was like, let's get this thing out of me. In terms of other physical symptoms, I had a period that lasted for like, what was it, 14 days, and it was heavier than it's ever been, and I had pain every single day. I ended up having to go on these other hormones to stop the bleeding, and that just felt awful because then it was even more hormone. A couple of other symptoms that I noticed were pins and needles in my hands so much, and I'm not even talking in situations where the circulation was cut off. Like I could just be lying there like this with my arms like that, and I would have intense pins and needles after probably 20 seconds. And the other thing was night sweats. I started sweating hardcore every single night. So that is why I came to the conclusion of getting it removed, and I got it removed a couple of days ago, hence the band-aid. It's so weird not feeling it there. Now I'm back on the pill, and hopefully that works for me this time, because the pill used to make me feel kind of the timing. I remember as soon as I cut dairy out of my diet, my pill used to start to make me feel queasy every time I took it, because it's actually covered in lactose. I spoke to my doctor about it, and he actually told me about one that's lactose free. I'm on the sugar pills, so I haven't been able to test out the new ones, but if they don't make me feel queasy, I will be so happy, because that was the only issue I started to have with the pill, and that was another motivation for me to switch to something else. I'm really hoping that when I have some sort of hormone back in my system, I continue to feel this motivated and good, because that would be a dream. I've been wanting to film a Q&A with my boyfriend for so long now, but every time we go to do it, I am just so not in the mood. So fingers crossed I continue to stay this way. If you guys have any questions for that Q&A for me and my boyfriend, then feel free to ask in the comments. I posted today that I was making this video. Someone asked what the procedure of it being removed is like, because they have one. So I thought I'll tell you guys quickly, because it is so simple. Basically, you get numbed up again, just like the first time. My doctor didn't really wait for me to get numbed up though, so I felt it, which was a bit weird. It wasn't crazy painful. Like I feel like going to the dentist recently hurt way more, but I was just like, come on, man, you could have waited like a little bit longer. Then once they've made the slit, they just get some sort of tool in there and they pull it out. And for some reason he showed me, I don't know why, but it was kind of cool to see. I was like, oh, okay. I don't think I bled from it being removed at all, which is weird. I remember when I took off the band-aid, there was no blood, so must not bleed from it much, which is great. And I don't think I'm swollen at all. It's like a tiny bit tender. Assume if you're getting a new rod, it will be exactly the same thing, but then they'll just insert it afterwards. So shouldn't be too bad. It's actually way better than it sounds. Before I wrap up this video, I just want to make it very, very clear that I am not saying that the rod is evil or that nobody should get it. The rod does work really well for some people, and it worked well for me for 6 months. And if it continued to do that, I would have kept it in me for sure. I think the only regret I have is not taking it out sooner, because the side effects were pretty damn clear that it was the rod, and that made me gain more weight and affect my skin more and my mood more, when I could have just ended it quicker. Side effects are possible on any form of contraception. So if you're on something right now and you've got bad side effects, it's worth going to your doctor and just seeing what alternatives they are, whether it's a different brand or literally a different thing, like going from the pill to the rod. If you guys have had any problems with different forms of contraception, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear different opinions, because everyone has such a different story, and it's so interesting knowing how different all of our bodies are. And if you're having positive experiences with something, then share that in the comments below, because it would be nice to hear a positive story after going through all of this. Since I've started getting periods again this year, I have been really liking a particular app for tracking it and keeping an eye on your mood and your symptoms and everything. And if you guys would like to know more about that, let me know in the comments, because I'll make sure to mention it in a future video, because I am such a big fan, but I don't want to overload you guys with too much information in this video. If you enjoyed this video, then remember to give it a thumbs up and comment below if you have any questions about anything I spoke about. I think I covered everything pretty well, but there might have been something I missed. So remember to leave any Q&A questions for me and my boyfriend if you have any on top of your head right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Bye.